I decided to make this uh, video as part two to the first static routing video that I created. So that was part one, and this is part two. So in that video, I was having a hard time uh, doing the uh, number one verification from the verification section of the lab or verification part of the lab. So I was able to resolve the issue that I was having. So the problem was I was not able to uh, ping the website or the DNS server, or sorry, the DNS name itself from the from PC1, and I was able to actually ping it uh, before I recorded this video. So let me just ping cisco.com, which has an IP address of 172.16.1.9. 16.1.9. I can ping it now. And I also added another server, google.com, with an IP address of .8, and I'm able to ping it as well. So from this DNS server, um, basically here, what you need to do is just configure the DNS server with an IP with an static IP address. So this is the IP address, the subnet mask, and this is the default gateway, which is this IP address or R3, right? And the DNS server is itself. And from services, uh, yeah, uh, switch 2 is actually, let me just show you, getting an IP address, a DHCP IP address. Um, so let me show IP route. IP route is not set, but let me see if I can ping, because they are on the same subnet. If I can ping the DNS server IP address 172.16.1.2, yeah, I can ping it. But I need to actually configure, um, if I will try to ping, let's say, I, PC1. PC1 has an IP address of this. If I need to ping this from the switch, I need to configure its default gateway pointing to the router itself. So let me actually do that. Default 172, oops. This is not part of the lab, but I'm just trying to do this as well. 172.16.1.1 and ping 192. What was that again? 168. 192.168.1.1. I cannot still ping it. Hold on. Okay. Let me ping my gateway. 172.16.1.1. Yeah, I can ping my gateway, but let me ping 192.6.68.1.1. Is this the PC IP address? Yeah, it is. So the question is, does R1 know how to get to that network? Okay. I mean R3. So R3 knows how to get to network. So how come switch 2 doesn't know how to get? Let me ping 192.164 or 168.1.254. That's not right. I'll check on that later. But going back here, this server here has an IP address of .9, 172.16.1.9. The subnet mask and default gateway is the router. DNS server is that server. And this here has an IP address of 172.16.8.1.8 and the same uh, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. But let me go back to the DNS server and check the DNS or a record settings. So this is the cisco.com and this is the mapping of the DNS server, DNS name and the IP address and Google that. So from PC1, 172.116.1.8, I'm able to ping the Google, able to ping Cisco. And if I go to the web browser and just browse cisco.com, that works. Okay, image and google.com, that works as well. Hello world. But I think it just, yeah, that works. So number one is done. Actually, let me go to PC2 as well. Yeah, that works. And Google, that works as well. Okay, so going back here, how come let me just check DNS DHCP configuration, star IP address. Should I start from 1? I think I should start from 1. S2 172.16.1.2. Let me bounce it. Yeah, dot three. Okay. 172.16.1.2, that works. That should work. Dot 9, that should work as well. Dot 8, that should work. Problem is I can't ping PC1 from switch 2. So what is the problem? 192. Now I can ping it. So I guess that IP address that I have earlier is not really valid, right? Because I think that's the broadcast IP address. Yeah. So before it was .0, which is if you go to here, that should not start from that 0 because that's the broadcast. That's not usable IP address. But it works now, so we're able to resolve that. Go here again. Yeah. So let me just for fun, let me see if I will get a different IP address. Shut and no shut. Oh, I'm still getting the same IP address. Yeah, that's fine. And let me see if I can, because I think I did try to ping Cisco from switch 1 earlier and it does not work. Or from, oh yeah, from the previous video. Now we have to wait. So let's just wait for this to finish. It's actually annoying. Control C, Control Z, not working. So you really have to wait. Oh, there you go. So I think I configured the DNS server here on the switch. I'm not sure what happened. Let me configure it again. It's not here anymore. Yeah, so the default gateway is the router, which is correct. Okay, correct. Oh, it's here. uh, that's correct. So how come it's not working? IP domain lookup. Is that configured? No? Let me do that. IP domain lookup. And ping 172.16.1.2. That works. Let's try. Oops. Let's try the Cisco server. 172.16.1.9. That works as well. Google.com. That works. And let me see if I can ping google.com. Still not working. So that's not good. It's not translating it. But here, let me see if I can ping cisco.com. I can ping it from the PC itself. Okay. I think I have to also, oops, that's the video that I'm downloading. Yeah, it's not working. I think the problem is uh, DNS server. Hmm. DNS server, that, which is correct. IP domain lookup is correct. Let me do this. And just shut it. And no shut. IP address. Oops. DHCP. And that. And let me cisco.com 172.1.9. That works. .8. That should work as well. Cisco.com. It's still not working. What's wrong with this? Oh, so that works. Yeah, it works. So when I that's not when I configured the SPI VLAN 1 with a DHCP server, let me see. Um, let me remove this. Ping cisco.com still works. Google, that should still work as well. I'm expecting that that should work as well because of the DNA, a record on this server, right? But so far, that's not working. Let me Control Z, Control Shifts. There you go. No, how come? Cisco. So Google.com works, but Cisco.com works, but that does not work. Um, But earlier, when I was, let me do, let me try again. So IP name server 172.16.1.2, save, ping cisco.com, that should work, ping google.com, that should work. Okay, I guess we have to also configure that, the DNS server. Um, just check something here. Here, DNS server. So I bet if I no IP address, what was that again? 192.168.1.253.255.255.255.0. Oops, that works. 192.168.254, that's the gateway. That works. Cisco.com. That works. Google.com. That works. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Um, so you have a static IP address on VLAN 1 or SVI VLAN 1, and I have the DNS server or name server configured on the switch and the default gateway and the IP domain lookup and ping to DN Google Cisco.com and ping to google.com works. So yeah, that's more than what the labs required us to do, but it's a good thing to always check everything. So I think the last thing would be I want to discuss the prerequisites for static routing. So it says in this note, static routing has the following prerequisites. So if the next hop address for a static route is reachable, the static route will not be able to be added to the unicast routing table. And static routing has the following, has the following guidelines and limitations. So static routing has you can specify an interface as the next hop address for a static route um, as the next hop address. You can specify an interface as the next hop address for a static route only for point-to-point interfaces such as DRE tunnels and serial links. So I want to actually try that while we are in that notes, this part here. So let's try, let me go to R3 and just do, wanna try this part here. So let's say, let's see, R3, let's try this. Okay, I want to remove this. And basically paste the same but add this as the next hop. Instead of switch 2, I'm gonna add switch 1. I mean, instead of R1, R2 as the next hop, I'm gonna add R1 as the next hop. So the IP address is 192.168.2.1, and let's see if that route is in the routing table. It is in the routing table. Oh, yeah, because I can ping it, because that's a difference. Let me remove it again. Okay, so let me ping that IP address 192.168.2.1. Still ping it. I'm on R3 and I can ping uh, that too. Oh, yeah, because I have routes to that. I see. Yeah, so in that case, when I added this route, I can already ping this next hop. It's not actually a next hop, but R1. So this route was uh, got installed in the routing table because of because I'm able to ping this. Okay, that makes sense. So let me add that again. Yeah, it's there here. But just to be, you know, just to follow the lab, I'm gonna say dot 3.1 save. Okay, so we have completed the lab and actually uh, performed extra tasks. And like I said, it's always a good thing to always check everything. So yep, that's it on this video. Thanks for watching.